Hey guys, it's just Cards by Sarah. Today I want to share a technique of how I colour my flowers. I was recently asked by one of my subscribers different ways that I colour my flowers. And to be honest, there's no secret to it. But I'm going to go through some of the ways I do it. So I'm just getting gesso at the moment because I use gesso for my flowers. And I'm dropping everything, as you guys can hear. Okay, got my gesso. Okay, so basically the first technique I use to do my flowers is, this is a spray. It's basically Victorian Velvet, which is my favourite colour from Tim Holtz. And basically I've put the re-inker in a spray bottle. And I've added some mica to it to give it that bling. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, my first technique is simple, just spraying. And that's how I did my tags last month. I had a lot of people ask me how I do it. I basically use, you can gesso your flowers pre-ahead, but I don't like to do that. I find that it resists your sprays, and I would rather the spray soak in a bit and you get that vibrancy. So that's one way. And I'll quickly hit it. And as you guys can see with the flower, it hits it. It's different colours in different spots, and that's what I love. When you gesso it, you'll get all the same tone, and you'll get, like I said, like a resist effect. And I don't want that. So I like this, that you get the variance, because flowers aren't just one colour. They've usually got darker and lighter bits. Or you could go back in and spray in certain bits, like in the centre, where centres are normally darker, or the edges. Okay, another way that what I also do is I get gesso and I water it down. I use super heavy gesso, or you can use just ordinary gesso. And I water it down and I just go around the edges, which gives it a white washed look. Or I go around with Inca Gold in the gold colour, and just around the edges I basically rub into the gold, and I go around the edges and just fill those edges, and you'll get like a gold shimmer, which will look like the tags I did last week. Oops, and I've put gold on this one. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to pick it up on that camera. But you can see the gold on the tips there, hopefully. So that's one of my techniques that I use. Another technique is I get my distress inks from Tim Holtz, and I basically get the re-inker out also. I just pick a colour out of my stash. I'm just picking a colour out here. Go for Broken China. And I've got all my pads stuck with double-sided tape underneath. And what I do is grab my distress pad. And this is Broken China, and again that Carnation from Wild Orchid, and I would just go around the edges. As you can see, it's got strong colour. And the great thing is about distress inks, they have they react to water, and they're water based. So products like that, like dye inks, work well doing this technique. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. You could keep it as is, or the great thing is wetting it. I've just got an ordinary spray bottle with ordinary water, and I'm just going to grab the end. And the great thing is, wetting it, it will start to bleed throughout the flower. So I'm sort of soaking it. because we want it to bleed. And you can go over it several times, or you could wet it first if you really wanted to. I'm just going in again, as you can see, and I'm going to quickly guys, I'm back, and this is the flower I ended up with. Isn't that pretty? So we'll just move this light over a bit. Hopefully you get that full colour. So it gives you that shading on the edges. So hopefully you're picking up that true colour. Another way is I get out my Prima chalk inks and I basically do the same thing, which are these chalk inks. I also use my gelatos, and I use my paintbrush. I'll show you another. Sorry, sniffing and snorting. Okay, sorry, I'm just looking for a good colour. Right, I'm going to go with the Barbie pink. This one's called... can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, it's on the top. Bubblegum. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see that. And this is a double scoop. Now I'm going to grab some water. I don't want much because it'll water down that colour. Okay, next technique is I'm going to find a paintbrush. Okay. This is all I've got offhand, so I'm going to use it. And again, doing that sort of same technique, but getting it a bit more in between the cracks. But spraying is a fabulous idea. Hopefully you guys can see that. And I'm going to go underneath. Because you can't miss the underneath. Because sometimes you do see it. And these carnations colour so well. And again, I'm going to add that water to let it bleed. And I'm just going to go into some spots I missed. Just in case it doesn't bleed enough. And I'm just going to, as you guys can see, there's my colour, so it gives it a gorgeous two-tone colour. So I'm just going to go up. And then you've got this colour again, which is a gorgeous two-tone again. And then you've got this one, the variants of the distressed ink. So you could use Tim Holtz new stains, sprays, any of the new stuff on the market. But then I could go in with another colour. So I could just do the edges, or I could just do the whole flower, or I could just do the centre. And the great thing about doing this, it gives it that two-tone colour again. I'm going to wipe that up, and again I'm going to hit set. As you guys can see, you've got that gorgeous two-tone. But then you've also got the original. You can see a variance. And I could go in again, spray that in the centre, give it a darker appearance, or even get my paintbrush and just brush on the edges. Or I could go around with gesso, or I could go around with my inker. That's pretty much just some of the techniques I use on my projects. I also like to use paint sometimes. It's just basically playing around with your supplies and having fun with it. And and getting a different look each time. And that's a great thing, you'll never get the same look a second time. And that's about it. Alright, bye.